All right. Well, hello. Hey, good afternoon, or actually, good morning, everybody, because it's going to be on Tuesday morning that you're actually going to be seeing this video. But yes, it's Profesor Cañedo here, or El Profesor Cañedo, and here we are for the roll call for week 3 already. So this is the preview of everything that's happening for everybody for the week of September 5th through 9th. Hope all of you had a great holiday weekend. I think the Monday break, Monday holiday definitely gives us a pretty good breathing space after all the chaos and confusion running around for the first couple of weeks of the semester. But we definitely have a bit of a long stretch before we get to our next series of holidays coming up in November. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right to it. And let me tell you what's happening for this week. All right, well, let me go ahead and start this roll call by talking to those of you in the Chicano Studies and Mexican American Studies classes. So let me talk to you first, and then I'll talk to those of you in the U.S. History sections for Grossmont. But before I get to that, one quick note for everybody. So this applies for all of you. Again, please be sure to contact me for the remainder of the semester, or in the case of the Mesa and Southwestern sections, the rest of the 8-week session. Excuse me. Everybody, please contact me in Messages for Professor. And those of you in the Grossmont sections, be aware that when you see my name in Messages for Professor, you're going to see my name listed twice. So be sure to choose Oscar Cañedo Instructor from the list of people in the class. I'm sure some of you have tried to contact me and maybe get a little bit annoyed that I haven't replied back. That's because I haven't seen your messages. So again, for those of you in the Grossmont sections, Oscar Cañedo Instructor, choose that instead of plain old Oscar Cañedo from the list of people in Message for Professor, and I'll be sure to get to reply to everybody within a timely manner. All right, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and see what's happening now. And I'll start right now by talking to those of you in the MAS 142 class. Here's your plan for the week. Let me go take my glasses off for the majority of the video, since I've got my notes in front of me, and with these glasses on, my vision actually gets a little bit blurry. So let me go and take these off for a little while, and let's see what's on tap for those of you in the 142 class. All right, so in the 142 section, you guys are working on the Mexican Revolution and push and pull factors. So these are things pertaining to what's happening in roughly about the 1910s, 1920s, and into the early parts of the 1930s. So in addition to the usual readings in Beyond 1848 and Crucible of Struggle, make sure you check out the PowerPoint programs on the Mexican Revolution, immigration. There's also articles by Michael Smith and Mario Garcia. Remember, you can see all of that in the module for the that's on the course menu for week 3. And you've got the film of the legendary Bandido Pancho Villa, so definitely check that out too. A quick quiz 2 for those in the 142 class. That wraps up today, Tuesday, and I'm going to open up quiz 3 coming up on Friday. As for discussion forums, thank you to those of you in Group 1 who posted your comments. I'll reply to all of you. So please go back to the forum and reply back to me, and definitely have some conversation with your classmates in Group 1. Group 2, you're up next, so please have your Forum 2 comments coming up on Friday. And I still owe you a few more nuts and bolts videos, and I want to get you a video for sure this week about the U.S. labor issues SLO assignment. So just give me a couple of days to fix that up, and by the middle of the week, I'll have that nuts and bolts video for you. So that's the plan for those of you in the Southwestern MAS 142 class. Now, for those of you in the Mesa Chicano Studies 141A section, what you're doing this week is checking out the post-classic period of Mesoamerica. So that covers the usual suspects, the Aztecs, the Toltecs, in addition to the beyond the ancient Mexico stuff. Check out the PowerPoint programs on both the Aztecs and the Toltecs. You've got the Aztec film and a PDF article by Gary Nash. Of course, you'll find that in the week 3 module. I also have to give you some information about the final exam. So let me get that to you roughly toward the middle part of the week. So if not tomorrow, Wednesday, then for sure on Thursday, I'll have information for you in the announcement. Because of the holiday weekend, of course, you got an extra day for wrapping up Quiz 2. So Quiz 2 will shut down tonight at midnight, just before midnight, and Quiz 3 is going to open up on Thursday. And also, since you have group forums too, Group 1, thank you to those of you who posted your comments. I'll reply to you. So definitely go back and and read my remarks and reply back to me, and also reply to some of the others within your group. Group 2, you're up next. Have your Form 2 comments ready on Friday, and I'll respond to you next weekend. So that's the plan for those of you in the Chicano Studies 141A class. And you might have noticed right now I have had a visit here. That's London, my grade Persian. She's been with me for well, she's going to be 15. In fact, she just turned 15, and she's definitely getting a little bit ornery and feisty as she gets into her senior years, so to speak. So we'll see if she pops up a little bit later on in the video. Okay, let's go and shift gears, and let me go ahead and talk now to those of you in the Grossmont sections, the History 108 and 109 sections. And I've got your information over here off on the side on my MacBook, so forgive me if I just glance over a little bit. So for those of you in the History 108 section, here's what you guys have on tap. And actually, if you don't mind, let me get my glasses back on for this portion. Okay, so for those of you in the History 108 section, here's what you have this week. Okay, continue with part 2 of the topic of Meeting of Three Worlds, and read the second part of chapter 1 of the Who Built America text. I gave you the first half last week, so continue on with the second half this week. You've got PowerPoint programs about 16th century England and Spanish New Mexico, so check those out. And you've got to listen to 2 podcasts this week. Listen to the podcast in iTunes on the Indian perspective and building a permanent British presence. And speaking of podcasts, you've got your first podcast journals due this week. Send those in to me tomorrow Wednesday. And remember, this pertains to the podcast you had to listen to last week. So get those into me to tomorrow, and I'll try to have your grades, your scores by the end of the week. And don't forget also that Quiz 1 is active right now. That will shut down coming up on Friday at just before midnight, and I'll open up Quiz 2 coming up on Friday. So that's for those of you in the History 108 class. Oh, one more thing too. I hope that my nuts and bolts videos about the video review assignment were helpful. Had a little bit of trouble getting getting all the information in the first video. So with the 2 videos I gave you over the weekend, hopefully those help out with respect to that assignment. All right, now shifting gears, here's what those of you in the History 109 section are going to be working on this week. Please proceed with the topic, the triumph of industrial capitalism, and you have to read chapter 3 in the Who Built America text, and also check out the PowerPoint on the Spanish-American War. You've got a podcast on the rise of big business and the response of workers, and your podcast 3 journal is due on Thursday. I apologize, I haven't had a chance to grade your podcast 1 and that is podcast 1 and 2 journals just yet, but within the next couple of days, your scores and feedback will definitely begin to appear on Blackboard. And I actually do have a nuts and bolts video that I want to give to you this week. I want to tell you guys in the 109 class a little bit more about the Ken Burns jazz assignment. You'll be watching all the episodes of Burns's 2000 series about jazz. So all the usual suspects, all the major players: John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Satchmo, Stan Getz, and of course the female legendary artists Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, Bessie Smith, all of them. They'll all be covered in this panorama. But I'll tell you more about the assignment coming up a little bit later on this week with with at least one. I think I actually have 2 nuts and bolts videos about that. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that as the week unfolds. And again, this information for those of you in the 109 section. Let's see. Anything else I need to mention for those of you in the 109 class? Oh yeah, and don't forget that quiz. Quiz 3 is now active. Quiz 3 is okay. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Quiz 2 is now open. Quiz 2 just opened up on Friday. I'll be opening up Quiz 3 for you guys at the end of the week. Okay. Let me see what else I need to mention. No, I think that pretty much covers it. So I hope all of that is helpful in letting all of you know what you need to look at for the week. And again for all of you, please be sure to contact me in messages for Professor. And again, for those of you in the 109 and 108 109 and 108 sections, remember that when you go into Blackboard to write to me messages for Professor, make sure you choose Oscar Cañedo, instructor, from the list of people in the class. Okay, so that's everybody. Any confusion or questions about anything? You guys know how to reach me, and I'll of course have written announcements for all of you as the week unfolds. Okay, that's it from here. That's it from the French Valley headquarters, and I'll be back with you guys next Monday with another roll call video.